3 months, 3 dances, and last week, of the first time in 3 years, I walked out of the studio and didn't want to come back. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you've ever been following my competition journey, you know that 3 months ago I started working with a new partner. He is 22 years old. The choreography he builds is ambitious and complex, and I was genuinely excited. Today, I want to tell you what actually happened over these 3 months because it was not what I expected. In this video, what went through, why I almost quit after 3 years of life in this sport, and what one conversation changed everything, and what I've learned about what it actually takes to work with someone who is brilliant but has never taught an adult before. So let me give you the honest picture of these 3 months. When I started working with a new partner, I knew it would be an adjustment. New choreography, new dynamic, new energy. That's normal. What I didn't expect was how long the basic communication would take to establish. Here's the thing about learning dance as adults. You need to be showing things slowly. Not because you are slow, but because your brain is processing movement different than a child's brain. Children absorb movement by imitation almost automatically. Adults need to understand the mechanics. We need to feel each position before we add speed. My partner is 22. He is trained since childhood. He is technically exceptional, but before me, he had only taught children. And children and adults learn completely differently. For the first 2 months, I kept asking him to slow down. Show me the movement slowly so my body can find it before we add music. He would hear me, and then 30 seconds later, we will be back at a full speed. It took us 2 full months just to establish that rhythm. 2 months to get to slow demonstration, slow practice, then gradual speed. That's basic pedagogy. And it cost us 2 months of progress. Last week, something broke. We are now in the middle of June. The competition I had planned for July 4th, New York, Manhattan, one of the biggest events of the year, is 6 weeks away. We have 3 dances built. Jive is still unfinished. Paso Doble hasn't started. And in that lesson last week, I asked him again, please show me this movement slowly. And he did what he always does. When I asked for slow, he showed it slowly but started stopping, loud, exaggerating, stopping with every step, like I was a child who needed a beat counted out. I don't know how to explain why that particular moment broke something in me. Maybe it was the accumulation of 3 months, maybe it was the competition deadline, maybe it was just one too many times of feeling like I wasn't being heard. I walked out of the studio. I called the owner of the studio. She and her husband are world champions in standard. They have been teaching for decades, and I've been their student for 3 years. And I told her honestly, I feel terrible. For the first time in 3 years, I don't want to come back. And that has never happened to me before. Not once in 3 years of competitive dancing have I not wanted to show up. That told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't about difficulty, their choreography. This wasn't about competition pressure. This was about feeling unheard in the room where I'm supposed to feel most of myself. Here's what I want to say about what happened after that phone call. The owner of the studio didn't dismiss what I said. She didn't tell me what to do. She didn't tell me to be patient, to try harder. She said, "This is not your problem." And those 4 words meant everything. Because when you are in a dynamic that isn't working, the easiest thing to do is blame yourself. Maybe I'm too demanding, maybe I'm not adapting quickly, maybe the problem is me. Having someone with their 30 years of teaching experience say clearly this is a teaching problem, not a learning problem, that gave me back something I had almost lost. She told me she and her husband would come to our next session not to judge, not to interfere, but to help my partner understand how to work with an adult student, how to communicate, how to slow down in a way that still feels like dancing, not like accounting exercises. That session is today. I don't know exactly what will come out of it, but I know that I'm going. And the fact that I want to go again after last week tells me that the love for this hasn't disappeared. It was just buried under 3 months of frustration. I've been thinking a lot this week about what makes a partnership work, not just in dance, in anything. Talent is not enough. My partner is genuinely talented. His choreography is at a level that will push me to grow for the next year. That's real. But talent without communication is just potential. And potential that you cannot access because the channel between you is broken, that's not useful to anyone. What I've learned in 3 years of competitive ballroom is that the relationship between a dancer and their teacher is one of the most intimate working relationships you can have. You are in each other's physical space for hours every week. Every frustration shows in your body. Every moment of connection shows in your dancing. When that relationship works, the flow feels effortless. When it doesn't, you feel it in every step. I've also learned something about myself in these 3 months. I know what I need to learn well. I know my body. I know how my memory works. I know what it takes to build something that will actually hold up under competition pressure. That knowledge, knowing yourself as a learner, is something you only get from years of experience. And it's not something a 22-year-old teacher who has only worked with children is going to automatically understand. That's not a criticism. It's just reality. And now, with the studio owner involved, I think we're finally a path to making it work. Before I get to my last thought, if you've ever watched my competition journey and you're curious about the dresses I wear on stage, I design and sell my own competition ballroom gowns at irinavibestar.com. Every dress you've seen me compete in, I created. Link is in the description. Here's what I want to say to anyone who is in something that stops feeling good. A job, a relationship, a creative project, a class you are taking, something you used to love that has started to feel like a burden. There is a difference between difficulty and the wrong fit. Difficulty is a part of growth. It's uncomfortable, but it moves you forward. Wrong fit is when the discomfort isn't producing anything. When you leave every session feeling worse, not better. 3 months of difficulty is not a reason to quit. 3 months of feeling unheard, unseen, and unmet, that's worth a conversation. I had that conversation, and the fact that the response was, "This is not your problem," that changed everything. Don't quit before you have that conversation. But also don't stay in something that's breaking you down without saying something. You deserve to feel good in rooms where you are doing your most important work. I will be updating you on how today's session goes and what happens between now and the competition in July. If you want to follow the full story, subscribe. And I want to know, have you ever been in a situation where you almost quit something you loved? What made you to stay or go? Tell me in the comments below. I will see you in the next video. XOXO. Bye.